welcome to my YouTube channel, School for Chemophiles. Okay, so today we are also reporting the second class based on chemical kinetics, short points, part 2. In the next class, we discussed 8 short points. Okay, due to technical defect, I can't able to carry on the class beyond question number 8. Today we we will start the class freshly from point number 9. Okay, so first now point number 9 we will learn about the molecularity. Okay, so what is molecularity? तो हम लोगों को पहले जानना होगा molecularity क्या है. ठीक है, तो molecularity is defined as the number of species involved in a single step process is called molecularity of that step. Okay, so the number of species involved in a species that may be molecules, that may be ions. Okay, ये मॉलिक्यूल भी हो सकता है, ये आयन भी हो सकता है, लेकिन ये ख्याल रखना है ये वो स्टेप में जो मॉलिक्यूल और आयन है उसका एक्टिवेशन एनर्जी, उसका एनर्जी आइदर एक्टिवेशन एनर्जी इक्वल or it should be beyond of that. That means the number of molecules involved in the excited state which converts into product is called the molecularity of that process. First of all, we have to clear a fact that it notes the sum up of the number of species in the balanced equation. Such an example, if we consider N2 plus thrice H2 equal to twice NH3, we can add 1 plus 3, that equal to 1 plus 3 equal to 4. So the molecularity of this reaction is equal to 4. It's not true. So you can't have the molecularity from the balanced equation. So it's a complex reaction. It involves a multi-step process. So in each and every step, the number of molecules involved are the molecularity of that step. So my important point is that you can't have the molecularity by adding the stoichiometric coefficient of that process. There is another example from which it will be clear that we read MnO4 minus plus 5 Fe2 plus and plus 8H plus, that equal to Mn2 plus 5 Fe3 plus 4H2O. So in this reaction we can see 1 plus 5 6 plus 8 14 species are there. So its molecularity is 14 is not there. So it's also a multi-step process, and in all these multi-step process, all these particular steps, the number of species involved is the molecularity of that step. Again, among all the step whose rate is slow, that means rate constant is minimum. In that case, the molecularity is the order of the reaction. Okay, so you can't have the molecularity by adding the stoichiometric coefficient of a general reaction. Okay, and in the most important part is that molecularity means the number of molecules at a time collide with each other to convert into product. If two or more molecules have the energy equal to the activation energy or greater, collide each other and convert it into product, that number of molecules which satisfy this conditions, okay, are called the molecularity of that step. So my most important view of point based on molecularity is that the molecule, you can't have the molecularity by adding the stoichiometric coefficient of the reaction, and also you have to think that the molecule should have fulfilled the activation energy criteria to convert into product. So in the climate state, in you know the energy profile diagram, in that state the number of molecules collide with each other is called the molecularity. And you know, most important another point is that the molecularity, higher order molecularity reaction is not possible, because we can calculate, we know the reaction moment, collision moment is the reaction moment, and the collision of molecules having greater than 3 at a time simultaneously is very low with respect to, so the possibility or the probability of colliding molecules having greater than 3 is very rare. Okay, they are not ready to collide each other all number of molecules, so higher order molecularity is not possible or very rare. So these are the facts which we learned from the concept of molecularity. It is very vital. We will go to the next point. Next point is the elementary reaction. Okay. Reactions where the molecularity is equal to the order of the reaction is called elementary reaction. Okay, so the most important conclusion of this for this reaction, that is elementary reaction. So for elementary reaction, it was observed that molecularity, the order, is equal to the order. So in case of elementary reaction, molecularity equal to order. So elementary reaction means a single step process. So in case of elementary reaction, by adding the number of species is the order of the reaction. So in every single step reaction, the number of molecules involved. So I think let's step 1 is there, step 2 is there, step 3 is there. Okay, here 2 species, let A plus B involved, convert into product. Here A, B and C involved, that converted into product, and here A converted into product. So in this step 1, what is the molecularity of that step? 1 plus 1, so 2. Here the molecularity is 2. Okay, here we can see 3 species are involved for the to convert into product. So in that cases, its molecularity is also 3. Here in the step 3, we can see 1 molecule is involved to convert into product. So here also molecularity equal to 1. So in all the cases, let in among these 3 steps, this is the most slow step. Okay, so we know in case of slow step, it is the rate determining step. So here the 3 molecules are involved. So here order is also 3. So here is the molecularity and order is same. Okay, so this is the elementary step. Okay, so in case of slow step, the molecularity and order also same. We will go to the next point. What is the next point? Next point is 11. Whether this is the question, whether the order of a reaction, order of a reaction depends on concentration of reactant. So this is the question, whether the order of a reaction depends on concentration of reactant. As we previously discussed, that order is an experimental data, experimental fact. It cannot be manipulated easily. So it depends on the mechanism that the reaction involves during the conversion process from reactant to product. So generally it is observed that order of a reaction is independent on the reactant concentration. That means whether if this is N2O5 is converted into N2O4 plus O2, this is a first order reaction. If we start from 0.1 molar N2O5 or 0.2 molar N2O5, the order will be same. In both the cases, order will be same. Okay, order will be same. But there are certain cases where the order of the reaction actually depends on the reactant concentration. Okay, let's consider A plus B equal to converted into product is a second order reaction. So the rate expression equal to K into concentration of A, concentration of B. So this is the rate equation. So we can see from the rate equation that the order is overall order of the reaction is 2. Now, if the concentration of one of the reactant is taken very excess with respect to the other reactant, then with progress of time, the change of concentration of B will be very negligible with compared to its starting concentration. Okay, so if we take B in excess, concentration of B is very high. Then with progress of time, the concentration change of B will be very small compared to its starting concentration. So we can assume that it behaves like a constant. Okay, so if we consider this B with together this K, then it will be K dash into A, where K dash equal to the K into concentration, excessive concentration of B, which behaves like a new constant. So from the rate equation, under this condition, the rate equation converted into like that, rate equal to K star into concentration of A. So from the rate equation, now it is evident that rate is directly proportional to the concentration of A. So it is a first order reaction. So it was second order reaction. When the concentration of B chooses in excess, then it is converted into a first order reaction. That's why this type of reaction is also known as pseudo first order reaction. So if one of the reactant is present in excessive amount, that means its concentration is very high with respect to the another one, then the order of the reaction can get varied depending on the concentration of the one of the reactant used during experimental condition. So this is a certain condition under which the order of the reaction depends on the concentration of the reactant. This is very important aspect. We will go to the next point. point 12. What is the viewpoint of point 12? Is that physical significance of rate constant. So physical significance of rate constant. For zero order reaction we know that rate minus d of A by dt equal to K into A0. Correct? So in case of zero order reaction, if we consider A equal to product as a zero order reaction, that means n equal to 0, then the rate expression will be minus dA by dt equal to K into concentration of A to the power 0, that means K. So zero order reaction from the starting time to the final time to the end time, it proceeds with a uniform rate. That means if we plot rate versus time, then we will always have a uniform rate of the reaction. That line is parallel to the time axis. So the rate is constant as we see from this equation. And that constant value, this constant value is equal to what? K. So the rate is equal to the rate constant. The rate is equal to the rate constant. For zero order reaction, the reaction proceeds with a uniform rate, and that rate is equal to the rate constant. So that is the physical significance of rate constant in case of zero order reaction. Okay. Next we can see for first order reaction. From the first order reaction, that is n equal to 1. If it is n equal to 1, then the rate expression is given like that, dA by dt, that will be equal to K into A to the power 1. So we can rewrite like this: K equal to 1 by concentration of A minus concentration dA by dt. So this is the rate constant for first order reaction. We can see this is equal to the rate constant. Now what is the physical significance of this expression? Okay, so we can see what is the difference d of A, differential of concentration of A. What does it mean? It does mean that the amount of reactant molecule reacts at that instant of time. So what does it mean, differential of concentration of A by concentration of A? So this represents a fraction of reactant molecules reacts at any instant of time. So this is equal to the fraction of reacting molecules reacts at that time, that instant of time. Okay, the fraction of the reactant molecules reacts at any instant of time is equal to the, so this fraction, the fraction of reactant molecules reacts at any instant of time is equal to the rate constant in case of first order reaction. and we can evaluate the unit of K also. Here we can see the unit of differential of A and D, that concentration of A is same, so it will be cancelled out. So the unit of K will be 1 by dt, that means time inverse. And we know also the time inverse is also the unit of frequency. So K actually represents the frequency with which the reactant molecules react, converted into product per unit time. Correct? So the fraction of the reacting molecules react at that time, instant of time, this frequency is equal to the rate constant in case of first order reaction. Again I repeat, in case of first order reaction, the rate constant is equal to the fraction of the reactant molecule reacts at that instant of time. So this represents the frequency with which the reactant molecules converted into product at any instant of time. So this is the physical significance of rate constant in case of first order reaction. If we consider 2A equal to product as a second order reaction, that means n equal to 2. So we can write the rate expression dA by dt, that equal to rate constant into concentration A to the square. So if we have 1 by A, that equal to minus dA by dt, that equal to K into concentration of A. So we can see again this. I need not to rewrite again this the meaning of this expression. So this represents the fraction of reacting molecule reacts at any instant of time is proportional to the concentration of the reacting molecules at that time, and that proportionality constant is equal to the rate constant. So in case of second order reaction, the fraction of the reacting molecules react at any instant of time is proportional to the concentration of that reacting species at that time, and that proportionality constant, that K, is equal to the rate constant of that second order reaction. So it is clear. Here we can also evaluate the unit of K also. Again the unit of this one and this one is required, so it is to cancel out. So the unit of K will be the inverse of both concentration of unit and time unit. So in case of second order, unit will be concentration inverse and also time inverse. Okay, so this one will be the unit of rate constant for second order reaction. So the point we will go to the next point, 13. Point number 13. In the next 2 or 3 points, we will discuss about the final rate expression, integrated rate expression for zero order, first order, and second order, and if possible for nth order also. So in case of zero order reaction, integrated, the topic is integrated rate expression. You have to recall all the rate expression to solve any MCQ in various competitive exam. You need not to derive the equation, but you have to remember the final rate expression for any order of reaction. So let's see, in case of zero order reaction, we know for n equal to 0, that means in case of zero order reaction, the rate expression is equal to x equal to kT. What is x? X is the concentration of the product after time t, and K obviously you need not to say, K is the rate constant and T obviously time. So this is the final rate expression in case of zero order reaction. We can also convert this rate expression in terms of concentration of the reactant. So if the concentration of reactant is Ca0 at T equal to 0, that is initially the concentration of the reactant A, if we again consider A equal to product as a zero order reaction, so the initial concentration of A is denoted as Ca0. If we consider after time T the concentration of reactant is Ca, then what will be the amount of product formed after time T? That will be the difference of these two expressions. So we can convert this rate expression in terms of reactant concentration by subtracting Ca0 minus Ca. This is the rate expression in terms of product concentration, and this will be the rate expression in terms of reactant concentration. Correct? So we can rearrange it also like this one is minus Kt plus Ca0. Okay, so this is the rate expression in terms of product concentration. This will be the final rate expression in terms of reactant concentration. Again I repeat, Ca represents the concentration of reactant after time T, and Ca0 represents the concentration of the reactant initially, that means T equal to 0. So if any curve is given there, we can put it. If concentration of product X is denoted versus T, then if we put the value T equal to 0, then X equal to 0, if we increase the T, X will be increased, so it will be like this one. It will be a straight line passing through the origin. So this is the concentration of product with respect to time. Again, if we plot Ca, that means concentration of the reactant after time T with against T, then if we put the value of T equal to 0, then Ca will be Ca0. So there will be a magnitude like this one Ca0, and if we increase the value of T, this will increase and this will decrease. So more amount of value will be deducted from Ca0. That means it linearly decreases. So it will be a straight line with negative slope, and the slope will be equal to what? Slope will be equal to the rate constant. Here also slope is equal to the rate constant. So in case of first order zero order reaction, by plotting Ca against T from the slope we can determine the rate constant, or in the other way, if we plot the concentration of product against time, then from the slope we can easily calculate the value of K also. So this is all about for zero order reaction rate expression. You can convert it in two forms, in terms of product concentration or in terms of reactant concentration. Again, there is a certain issue. If at time T1 the product concentration is x1 and time T2 product concentration is given x2, then what will be the rate constant? The rate constant will be x equal to x2 minus x1 by T2 minus T1. That will be the rate expression. This equation can also be utilized in solving MCQ in different competitive exam also. So remember that one. Now what will be the next point? This equation K equal to x2 minus x1 by T2 minus T1, this was the point 14. Okay, this was the point 14. Now we will conclude our next point. Next point is point 50. This is the completion time for zero order reaction. Zero order reaction. Remember this one is Cc equal to Ca0 by K. That means finite. So this is the completion time for what? For zero order reaction. To derive this equation, we can easily derive this equation. We have that one Ca equal to Ca0 minus Kt. That was the expression, correct? So when T equal to Tc, that means completion time when all the reactant is converted into product. Okay, all the reactants converted into product. So under this condition, what will be the value of Ca? That means concentration of the reactant. So at completion time, there will be no any amount of reactant species to convert into product. So the value of Ca will be equal to 0. So if we put this value here, this one is 0. This was a constant value K into Tc, and by rearranging this equation we have Tc equal to Ca0 by K. So that is the completion time for zero order reaction. And we know we can start it with a finite concentration of the reactant. So Ca0 is also a finite quantity, and K, that is the rate constant for zero order reaction, that is also a finite quantity. So Tc is equal to the finite quantity. So every zero order reaction completes within a achievable time frame. So this is an important topic. Now what will be the next point, the P16. P16, half-life time for n equal to 0. What is the T half? T half will be equal to A by 2K. Again, K is the rate constant, A is the initial concentration of the reactant. You can rewrite this equation like that, Ca0 by 2K also. So this is T half. You can derive it from that equation also, Ca equal to Ca0 minus Kt. When T equal to T half, you know the concentration. What is T half? What is the half-life time? Half-life time is the time required for a reactant species to get half of its initial concentration. Okay? What is half-life time? Half-life time is the time required by a reactant to get half of its initial concentration. If we elaborately discuss it, let the concentration initially of a reactant is L. With progress of time, we know the concentration of the reactant will decrease. Correct? Will decrease. So let it convert it into concentration of A by 2. It decreases and reaches to concentration of A by 2. The time required to reach here, from A to A by 2 is the T half. Okay? If again it will take the same time to convert it into A4 also, it will be also T half. To get from here A by 2 to A by 4, it will take same time, that is equal to the T half also. So if we under T half, we can see the concentration of Ca, that will be Ca0 by 2. So if we put this value here, if we put this condition here, we can have Ca0 by 2 minus Ca, that equal to minus K into T half. So T half will be Ca0 by 2K. You know all these things. I need not to derive all the equations. You know all these things. I just excitedly derive it. So from this value we can see T half equal to again Ca0 by 2K. So what is the important characteristics of this expression? From the expression you can see T half actually directly proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant. So if we start a concentration from 0.1 mole to convert it into 0.05 mole, correct? And if we start from 2 millimolar concentration to convert it into 1 molar concentration, the time will be different. The time will be different, though it is half. In case of what? Zero order reaction. So this explanation is not valid here. Next class is, we can see this is valid for first order reaction, where in every concentration gets to its half is the same. But in case of zero order reaction, it will take different time. And as the value of 2 is greater than 0.1, so the time required for this one will be greater to get half into 1 than this one. Make clear of that. In case of zero order reaction, T half, that is half lifetime, is directly proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant, correct? So if we start a reaction taking the reactant concentration of the reactant from 0.1 molar, and in another setup we start the same reaction taking the initial concentration of the reactant 2 molar, then the T half required to get half of its initial concentration will be different. If we start the reaction taking reactant concentration with higher, then T half will be also higher in that case, as it is evident from the expression. And in all respect, all type of reaction, in case of first order, second order, third order, or zero order reaction, is inversely proportional to K, and it is expected because K, higher value of K indicates the high speed to get into half of its concentration. So it will be inversely proportional with the rate constant, though it is fixed for a particular type of reaction. If we design different type of reactions, but order is same, that is zero order reaction, then the reaction having lower value of K will have the higher value of T half. So this is also as one of the aspect you can think about it. Okay, we will go to the next point, P17. What is P17? In case of zero order reaction, if we plot X versus T and dx by dt versus T, in case of zero order reaction. Previously I draw the plot here. X, if we plot X versus T, that is the concentration of the product will increases. It will be a straight line passing through the origin with positive slope. And if we dx by dt represents the rate of the reaction. So if we plot the rate versus time, as it is evident, it is equal to the rate constant K. So it will have a uniform rate from the starting to the ending. So it will be a parallel straight line to the time axis, correct? So these will be the two types of plot in case of zero order reaction. We will go to the next point, that is P18. The integrated rate expression for first order reaction, we will discuss about the first order reaction integrated rate expression. Integrated rate expression. You know all this important equation, ln A by A minus X equal to Kt, where A is the initial concentration of the reactant, X is the concentration of product after time t, and this A minus X actually represents the concentration of the reactant after time t. So you can rewrite this equation as Ca, if we consider A equal to product as a first order reaction, then you can write this one like CA equal to CA0 e to the power minus KT. So again you can rewrite this expression like x equal to 1 minus 1, sorry, that will be CA0 1 minus e to the power minus KT. So these three equations are very important. You have to remember all these equations to solve any type of problems in MCQ for competitive exam. So ln a by a minus x equal to KT. This also converted into CA equal to CA0 into e to the minus KT, or x, that is the concentration of product after time t, is equal to CA0 into 1 minus e to the power minus KT. So K is the rate constant for first order reaction. You know all the terms. It holds the same meaning as I earlier said. Okay, and another equation is there, which is known as Willmay equation. WILHELMY. WILHELMY. Willmay equation. This is actually equation applicable for, not applicable, it is expressed in that term in case of radioactive disintegration process. In radioactive disintegration process, rather than expressing in molar concentration, it is expressed in terms of number of atoms disintegrated per unit time. So rather than expressing concentration in terms of C, it is represented as N. So N equal to N0 into e to the minus lambda T. What is this? This N represents the number of atoms after time t, and N0 is the number of atoms initially taken, and that lambda is known as the disintegration constant. The meaning is same as that of the first order rate constant K. It is only denoted as lambda in case of radioactive disintegration, and here T also represents the time. So in case of radioactive disintegration, N equal to N0 e to the minus lambda T. So all type of radioactive disintegration actually follows the first order kinetic. So it is nothing but the another form of this equation. Okay. So you have to recall all these expression, which is highly important. We'll go to the next point. Next point is P19. How you will have the rate constant? How will you have the rate constant in case of first order reaction? We know the first order rate expression is like that, ln A by A minus x equal to KT. So if we plot ln A by A minus x versus t, will have a straight line passing through the origin, and from the slope will be equal to what? K, which is the first order rate constant. Again, if we plot log A by A minus x, log A by A minus x versus t, then also you will have the straight line. The slope will be equal to what? Slope will be equal to K by 2.303. You know all these things. Okay. So this is an important plotting by which you can determine also the rate constant. Generally, in case of any numerical problem in competitive exam, how it is implemented? It is implemented like that. A table is there. One is reactant concentration, one is product concentration x, and this one is Ca, this one is x, and there will be time. It is given. Lots of value will be given. From all this value, we can have the value of slope also. Okay, by finding out the value of ln A by A minus x at different time. Let's say the value from this table, you can easily calculate the value of K rather than plotting. because the value actually represents the change. So if you have the value of CA, if you have the value of X, then you can easily value of this one and also this one. So by dividing these two, let one is value is like M1, this one value is M1 and M2. And here will be what? Some value will be there. Here also. And here also some. If M3, M4 equal to some value is there. It is against some time T1 and it's some time T2. So if you divide this value with T1 and this value with T2 have the same value, and that same value will be what? The rate constant. Okay? From having this value and this one, you can easily calculate this one, and by calculating this one, you can have the value of M1 by M2, M3 by M4. This means here the value of M1, M2, M3, M4. Okay? So in the practices classes, we will discuss how these all equations are implemented to solve the any type of problem in different competitive exam. We will go to the next point, which is the last point in this class, that is P20. And you know P20, this is nothing but the half-life time. Life time, that is T half in case of what? N equal to 1. That means first order reaction. And you know T half is equal to 0.693 by K in case of first order rate expression. First order reaction T half is equal to 0.693, which is nothing but ln2 by K. Correct? And from the expression it is evident that the half-life time for the first order reaction is independent to the initial concentration of the reactant. So if we start taking the initial concentration of the reactant 2 molar and the time required, let's see time required to convert it into 1 molar, and in the another set of reaction of the same type reaction, another set, you put the value of initial concentration of reactant 4 molar, it's 2 molar convert into 1 molar and 4 molar converted into 2 molar. The time records relates to T2. So that it is evident from this expression that T1 will be equal to T2 and these all are equal to nothing but T half. So it does not depend on the initial concentration of the reactant. Whether you will start with 2 molar or whether you will start with 4 molar, the T half will be the same of the reaction. If you will not change the reactant, that means you will not change the reaction pattern. For the same reaction, whether will you start with the concentration of the reactant, initial concentration of the reactant 2 molar or 4 molar, it does not depend, it will influence anything to T half. That means T half will be the same. So this is also an important aspect. Again, how it is implemented in case of solving numerical problems or theoretical problems in case of competitive exam. It is T half value will be given, but the rate constant will be not given. So by knowing the T half value for the first order kinetic, you can easily calculate the value of rate constant by utilizing this rate expression. Correct? And you can see the unit of T half will be also in seconds. You know as well. The time is either minute inverse or second inverse. So this is all about regarding the 20 points. In that fashion, we will cross to 100 points of chemical kinetics in different part. I don't know how many parts it will take to complete the 100 points. It is also it will be 100 points. I don't know. It may be 150 points to cover all the points in case of graduate chemistry in chemical kinetics. If you like more this video, I will go for again beyond of that, including master degree chemical kinetics also. And so this is all about this class. But my earnest request to all of my loving students is that please don't forget to comment, because from the comment I can learn about the limitation of mind. So I can check it again and I can implement that also in the next video. So I will get in this, and I know I know that education is not a unidirectional phenomena. It's a reversible phenomena. You will teach something from me, I will teach something from you. So I will be get benefited like you also. So, and another point is that, so don't forget to comment. Okay, comment section is the learning section for me. And obviously don't like to share and subscribe also. Share it to your closest friend and college friends also, so that they can benefit it equally like you. Okay, so this is all about, and don't forget to go to the description link, description area also, because the PDF is given for the topics which I covered in this class. The PDF file will be given so that you can prepare yourself very right, in the right fashion, in the right way. The document will be there. You can take help of that one also. So, okay, today class is up to that. Okay, I will visit in the next class. Bye.